Hey Chris, I was driving past the high school here in my town just the other
Mhm.
night, and I noticed a bunch of cars lined up at the high school. I looked at the clock and I realized it was time for a high school basketball game, and I got a little sad.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Live Fully, Lead Authentically, a Brimstone coaching group podcast. My name's Chris Godfredson, co founder of the Brimstone Coaching Group, and I'm here today with my friend, partner, Kurt Bush. Good to see you, Kurt.
Yeah, same Chris.
And as you heard at the outset, Kurt is feeling a little forlorn, apparently. And I wonder what's the sadness about as you drive by the school?
Yep, yep.
Can you fill in the
So,
gaps for us?
yeah, I sure
Yeah.
will. Yeah, I mean, you know this. I'm not really a huge basketball fan. So the idea that there's a basketball game going on, I'm not in there is not really
Mm.
a sad thing for me. Uh, some of the listeners might know that there was a season where I did some announcing
Mm-hmm.
um, for a baseball team, for some high school teams. I really, really love doing that sort of work. I enjoy the environment of being at those
Mm-hmm.
games. In these basketball games, I announce, but I also do the scoreboard. It's
Yeah.
actually just a lot of fun. It's
Mm.
a fun
Yeah.
environment. I enjoy talking into a microphone, which
Yeah.
maybe you can
Yeah.
tell pod
You're pretty
listeners.
good at it.
Yeah,
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard this voice.
you
Yes.
have heard this voice.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Awesome.
enjoy it. If I'm super honest, I've always kind of wanted to be like the voice of
Mm.
the school sports, or if I'm most honest, the voice of the little college here in town.
Oh.
I
You've
I
always wanted that? Like,
well,
I would
since
think I've
maybe not
always
always.
wanted to be the voice of the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah,
You
maybe
want to
not
be
always.
the voice of the small college? Huh. Okay.
Always since
Shooting
I've
high.
driven, yeah, always meaning since I drove by the college or
Yeah.
the first
Since
game I
you
went
moved to
to.
the area.
Yes. I
That's
I
great.
know that the voice is nearing retirement.
Yeah, he
Um
is.
and I've kind of wanted to like slide into that because I enjoy that and that's a fun thing.
Yeah.
However, um
Hmm.
I've been doing this for a number of years, kind of on and off at different levels. It's time that it needed to stop.
Hmm.
Um, Margins just dictate. I needed the margins, right?
Yeah.
Basketball games are Tuesdays and Fridays.
Hmm.
Um, my wife and I have a side gig that has almost every Friday booked. Tuesdays need to be free. So I made the
Yeah.
hard decision this year
You
to
made the
say
choice. It's not that they said, "Hey, buddy, you're done." It's
they did not.
because like all of the stuff was running off of the paper.
Yep.
You were
Yep.
out of margin. Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I think I'm just figuring this out about myself, but what I know is I have serious FOMO all the time.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I want to do every single fun thing every moment possible.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I realize that's kind of how I've operated. I'll say yes to everything because I think it's going to be fun.
Hmm.
And then the problem is like I run out of space and margin. So
Yeah.
this was an intentional, hey, here's an announcing schedule. Let us know what you can do. I said, look, sorry, I can't do any of it. I've got to say no. So there is a sadness to say, gosh, I did really enjoy this, and now
Yeah.
this is just a time in life where I have to say no. And I think the sadness is I know that that has consequences, right?
Yeah. So say more about the consequences. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, I think the first consequence is like I just enjoy it, so I grieve a little
Hmm.
bit not being in the space. But I also think, when my goal is to sort of position myself to be the voice of anything,
Yeah.
I know that saying no kind of takes me out of that space and
Mm.
removes myself out of those like out of those conversations when the next thing is needed. Hey, here's Kurt and his voice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, these are all volunteer positions.
Hmm.
And I think these volunteer positions work by, hey, we need some help. Who do we know? What's going on? Who's already doing the
Yeah.
things? And
Yep.
so I'm aware. I'm aware that
Yeah.
my no this year is probably a bigger no than just this year, or at
Uh,
least for the next little while.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So like I know that you like to make people happy. That one of the things that you take joy in is being able to say yes, just like you alluded to here. Like, was it difficult getting to no and then communicating no?
Um, it was harder to get to it than it
Hmm.
was communicating it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah. I think the communicating it actually felt okay. Um,
Hmm.
Getting to it was harder.
Yeah.
The sort of internal feeling was harder than the
Yeah.
external communication. So,
Yeah. Okay.
and I think what that was is that I know intellectually that I need the margins. And like I don't like that. I don't
Hmm.
like needing the margins. I don't like taking the margins. I think if I'm
Why?
honest,
Why don't you like it?
because I'm gonna miss out on something, Chris.
It's the FOMO.
It's
Okay.
the FOMO. Yeah, it's the FOMO.
Yeah.
Um, I want to do all the things all the time. I think the other thing, like I think this is uncovering a myth that I've
Mm.
held and maybe believed. The myth that when good margins are held, it's just gonna feel great. Um,
Yeah.
and it might at some point, but it doesn't. It doesn't.
Not yet.
Not
It
yet.
didn't when you drove by the school last
It
week.
did not when I drove by. No, no.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it really is a question about margins and like what this is
Hmm.
exposing in me of what I believe about margins.
Yeah. Yep. Is there any more at the moment that you would say about what you believe regarding margins?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think amidst the sad, I think what I'm learning is there's just a complexity here in
Hmm.
margins.
Yeah.
I think I what I'm realizing is I was a little sad when I drove by, and then I got home, and then I realized like, oh, I'm home. I
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be running out of a gymnasium with everybody else
Right.
at 9:30
Yeah.
at night or whatever it is, you
Hmm.
know.
Yep.
Um, so I think I'm just realizing the complexity of setting holding a margin, setting limits, uh, listening to my limits, kind of
Yep.
doing all those things, the complexity of that when it's something I really want to do. I'm not sure that I remember a lot of times setting margins and saying
Hmm.
no to things that I really, really want to do, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Sometimes
Yeah.
the margins, I'm better at setting margins when I don't want to do the things.
Well, yeah.
I
Stands
mean,
to
all of
reason.
us, right?
Yeah. Right. I
Yeah.
think that's true for all of us.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you have a working theory on um, so I guess I started kind of the idea. So I'm just trying to choose the appropriate metaphor here.
Yeah.
Like all the words are running off your page.
Hmm. Yeah.
It has, are you using different size paper than you used to?
Mm. It's a good question. Let me make sure I'm following your metaphor
Hmm.
here. Or can I switch metaphor?
You can do whatever you want. You're the one being interviewed today on Live Fully, Lead Authentically.
I see what you did there. Ah, that was smooth. That was
Oh
smooth.
yeah, it's pretty good.
Um, I, do you know the plate metaphor, right? Like
Yeah,
everybody's
yep.
got a different size plate. Is that kind
Hmm.
of what you're getting at? Like,
That's what I'm getting at 100%. Yep.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think my plate or my paper has grown with some like efficiencies.
Hmm.
I mean, I think it is 2025, and there are some things that make plates bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I don't know that I don't know that it's hugely bigger, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, keep going. Ask more. I
Sure.
maybe wasn't
Well,
following where you were headed there.
well, yeah, I think that's okay. So what I'm curious about is I think a couple things. First answer this. Uh, does everyone have this? Are we all operating with the same plates? Like, are we all going through the food trough with the same with the dinner plate, or do some people have a like a salad plate or a platter? How
Mm,
do you see plate sizes as it
yeah.
relates to margin? I mean, we're gonna
Yep, yep. I just now I'm stuck thinking about like salad plates and what I would put on a salad plate if I
mm,
was at a potluck or a buffet or
dessert, but
yeah, first.
not
Uh
lettuce. I mean, for sure
uh
not spinach. But anyway, keep going.
does a salad have to have greens in it? We can talk about that. Maybe that's another
Well,
episode.
yeah, yeah, I
Um
think it is.
I agree. My working theory is that all of our plates are different sizes.
Yeah,
Would you agree?
I do agree. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
And so, what is there a when when you identify that your plate was too small or everything is running off the page where you needed a little more room for whatever it is that you need room for? Like, how did you arrive at that? What are the variables? Can you explain that?
Yep. Yep.
Because I need to know.
Are you asking for a friend?
Yeah, I'm asking for a friend. Yes.
Yeah. This sounds really cliche, but I think two things were true for me. I
Mhm.
was responding and reacting differently than I would want to in situations that I normally don't respond or react in those ways. I was, I was shorter with people.
Mm,
Um, I was probably not using the compassion with people that I might normally.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, I think I noticed in me like, oh man, my plate's overflowing and it's coming out
Yep.
in the way that I interact in situations.
Mhm.
I think the other thing is I just physically tired, um,
Okay. Yeah.
more so, more so than
Yeah.
usual.
That's
Um,
that's good.
yeah, yeah, but I think the reaction piece, like, there are some things that normally just bring me a lot of joy,
Hmm.
and in the last few months haven't brought as much joy when I do them. And I think
Yeah.
what became clear was that the plate's too full. I want to get the joy back in those things,
Yeah.
right? Like
That's good. Yeah.
I'm not willing to sacrifice the joy out of the things that normally bring me joy for the sake of
Mm.
doing the thing that the basketball announcing or the
Yeah.
sports announcing or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's yeah. I think that's great awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
want to I want to
what would
celebrate that. Yeah.
what would you say, like in times where you've noticed things
Mm.
about your plate piling up? Like, do you know any tells in your life?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. As you said, like you used um, responding and reacting in ways that you didn't want to. And like, I think I've really been intentionally pulling or separating those two words when
Mm,
I
yeah.
when I think about myself and the way I show up in the world. So, um, what happens for me when my plate is um, overflowing, when I've taken too much from the buffet line is that um, yeah, I my reactivity is high,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the people I care the most about are the ones that pay the price for that.
Mm, yeah.
I and so there's yeah, I get to pay attention to that. And so uh, and so when I say reactivity is like something is poked or prodded, I'm believing some old protective promise, or I'm behaving in a way that I can't manage my anxiety when it surfaces, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and so But when I'm rested, uh, less stressed, anxious, exhausted from the lack of margin, then I can respond from my best
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
And there are times when I can still respond from my best thinking when my plate is full.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
can, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's not that there's an absence of ever responding uh, appropriately. It's
Yeah.
that I my fuse is much shorter.
Yeah.
It's like the size when the wick is barely sticking out of the candle and you can't and it won't light. That's how long my fuse is.
Yeah.
If I have just like obliterated the margins, if there aren't any whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I said I was interviewing you today, but I'll keep going for just a second.
Yeah.
And what I'll say is that uh, my plate has gotten smaller.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm not I'm not taking from I'm not using the platter
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore to to feed myself from the buffet. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, it is still a good sized dinner plate. I mean, don't hear me saying that. I mean, to
It's a
your
good sized
point,
dinner plate.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and what I do, I give myself to, right? And
Yeah.
so that helps to reduce margins.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also am try to be more intentional to say, like, I mean, I'm using cliches that we have talked about here quite frequently, but to like when I have no margins, then I don't rest, and then my fuse is short and I snap or I erupt at people, and
Yeah.
the, I'm wanting to work from a place of rest, so I know that I have to pay attention to my plate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
sometimes that just means that, well, podcast clips don't get posted on Instagram. Sorry about it for this, for those of you who listen and have been looking for those. That's a conscious decision that I made because my plate was too full in
Yeah.
terms of other things that uh, we've deemed to be maybe more important or necessary.
Yeah.
Uh, Clip coming tomorrow. Or whenever this podcast drops, there will be some clips to go with. What episode is this?
41, I think.
41. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we will get to this. And
Yeah.
but everybody's plate size is different. Almost always
Yeah.
has been. And that is, that can all sometimes be problematic. It
Yeah.
can be in relationship, right? Um,
Yeah.
but it can also be challenging when, or if you've been around uh, in a role on the team long enough where your plate size begins to change, and
Yeah.
navigating that with inferiors, no, they don't exist. With superiors or team members, and to
Yeah.
like, so this is a place where I think I could struggle
Yeah.
if I hadn't done as much work in my life. So I'm like changing course here and
Yeah.
didn't give you any warning. But when you think about that, like
Yeah.
as your plate size grows or shrinks,
Yeah.
how might you help other leaders think about navigating that change or that shift?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great question. Can I answer it after a break?
Yeah, that's I was just wondering. I was just going to suggest maybe we should take a break.
Yep. Yep. Let's do that.
Have you ever walked out of a meeting or left a conversation thinking, why did I just show up like that? Why did I shrink back or explode or stay silent when it mattered? You're not alone and you're not broken. you're likely reacting from a pattern that started long before that meeting ever happened. In their new book, Live Fully, Lead Authentically, Kurt Busch and Chris Godfredson unpack the hidden second job so many of us carry, spending our days managing the anxiety, fear, and old stories that shape how we lead. Through honest stories and practical tools, they invite leaders to pause, reflect, and lead in a new way. Get your copy today at brimstonecoachinggroup.com/new book. Order now. This is your invitation to lead differently.
Hey, friends, welcome back to Live Fully, Lead Authentically, a Brimstone Coaching Group podcast. Chris Godfredson here today with Kurt Busch, and we're talking about margins and paper. And then all of a sudden, we started talking about plates and
You're welcome.
heaping servings of food and how we
Yeah.
keep things on the plate or off the plate. And really, we're kind of thinking about, where we're heading in the conversation is,
Yeah.
can we keep the food on the plate?
Yeah.
But one of the things as we went to the break, I think I was present too and brought up the idea that our plate sizes are different. Sometimes that creates opportunities. And as my plate has shrunk, I've had to think, especially in team settings, about what am I able to do? You know,
Yeah.
what's 100% look like?
Yeah.
I mean, this is an
Yeah.
entirely another conversation for another
Yeah.
day. So I'm not even
Yeah.
going to start down that path. Sorry that I did start
No,
down
it's
the path,
great. That is
but
another episode.
yeah, but the reality is when we've been in a role for really any period of time beyond 6 months, I would say, as the size of our plate changes, that creates uh, potentially stressful opportunities. Maybe
Yep.
our plate has gotten way bigger and we need more to do.
Yep.
And so, like, how do you think about that? How would you help the listener who's maybe on a team and is either like overloaded and needs to like is doing it's hard work to keep the food on the plate, or like is carrying around this big platter and just has one little scoop of potatoes on it? How do you help
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
think about this?
Yeah. It's a good question. I don't know that I know how to help the latter person.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you can speak to that big
Yeah,
plate with
maybe I
one
can.
scoop.
Maybe I can. Yeah.
Uh, so I mentioned to you at the break, Chris, that in a just factual sense, my plate is smaller, listener. My
Mm.
plate is smaller than Chris's. My plate has increased a little bit over the last couple of years,
Hmm.
but still, I'm aware that my plate is smaller than Chris's. Um, I think there was a time in my career where I found a lot of shame in that, where I would see, not necessarily in yours specifically, but
Right.
in other people around me that I can tell like they just have a much bigger plate. And I would feel a lot of shame to think like, what am I doing wrong? What's wrong with me? When am I going to
Yeah.
get found out for having too small a plate? Um, I think where I've come over the last 5 years is to realize that the question of leading well and leading fully and authentically is not about how big is your plate. It's about are you able and willing to do what
Yeah.
it takes to keep your food on your plate,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So I can overload myself.
Hmm.
Um, and to get out of the analogy for a minute, I can do all the things
Yeah.
and you know let FOMO drive all my decisions for all the things I do. And I'm going to find diminishing returns on the thing that I do. I know
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be fully present in all the things. I'm not going to be sharp on all the things.
Hmm. Yeah.
And things are not going to go like I think I want them to.
Yeah.
So, to jump back into the analogy, if I can keep the things on the plate, the food is better, the experience is better, everything's
Hmm.
better. So I
Yeah.
do like to think about this not as, I mean, maybe another podcast is like, can you make your plate bigger? How do you make your plate bigger? I
Hmm.
think I'm less concerned about how to make my plate bigger unless I'm in a setting where I need to do that quick.
Yeah.
I'm probably more concerned about being clear on the plate that I have
Mm.
and keeping the things on the plate.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would you want to say about that?
I think that's really well said. I think what I want to say at the moment is like, we're between Thanksgiving and Christmas as we
We are.
record this podcast, and like what can be true for me at those in those holiday seasons is I can gorge myself on actual food, like my plate is overflowing.
Yeah, analogy
And
gone. Literal,
yeah, right.
literal
I mean,
plate.
I can actually do that, but
Yeah,
the same is true. And like if I eat too much, I feel sick. And so there are ramifications for not paying attention to our margins.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Uh, you I think you answered one half of the question. You answered that really well. I think what I would say about, like I asked, so let's say you're graduating from a salad plate to a dinner
yeah,
plate, and your capacity is growing. I think that, I mean, in both cases, let's say, I mean, if I'm trying to keep everything on the plate, that means I'm going to have to say no to some things. I have to make
yeah,
wise choices about what I say yes to,
yeah,
and sometimes, for you, it's fear of missing out. For me, it's maybe they're going to think that, well, he's ineffective.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
going to age him out.
yeah,
And so then from a place of fear, then I get stuck or stopped. And, again, and maybe not again. I can't remember if I brought this up already, but the reality is I engage in ways to protect myself.
yeah,
Sometimes that is what leads to my plate getting so full, right? I don't
yeah,
want people
yeah,
to think this or believe that, and
yeah.
so I think the same thing can maybe hold people back. Well,
Hmm.
what if there's more that I can do?
Yeah,
And I would say, what is keeping you from asking what you need? What is
yeah,
keeping you from stepping into a greater responsibilities by saying, like, hey, uh, I can take more on. Is there more that I can do here? It
yeah,
can. I feel
yeah,
like I'm ready for more responsibility. Can we have a conversation about what that more responsibility might look like? I'm just thinking about emerging leaders and the way in which uh, CEOs, um, leaders, managers, people who are in positions of authority, like be looking for people whose plates are growing. Maybe they
yeah,
have room on their plate for more because they're getting more efficient and effective at the things
yeah,
that you have them doing. So uh, I'm not saying overload people for the sake of overloading them, but be wise leaders to like help people grow. And
yeah,
and and
yeah,
if you are that employee, I would say ask for what you want, ask for what you need.
yeah,
And if there's something in your way of doing that, well, you might want to get clear about that.
yeah, yeah.
What's in the way, right? Does that make
Yeah,
sense? How do
yeah,
you hear that?
yeah. I mean, I think I hear the word agency, right? I hear the idea of
Yeah.
awareness and agency.
Hmm.
Um, uh, can I shift a little bit and ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's something that stirred in me a little bit when you were talking.
Hmm.
Um, you started to talk about fear a little bit,
Hmm.
and I started wondering, or I started getting this stirring of like, am I afraid of overflowing my plate? Right? Like this idea,
Hmm.
like what is the threat of overflow? Like if somebody's plate isn't full enough and they want to add a little more, or if somebody's plate's already full and what is the fear? I sometimes wonder about this idea of trying something out and then having the agency to say, hey, that was too much. And now I can undo something. Like I'm
Yeah.
not I'm maybe not I maybe don't have to be so fearful of the edge that I don't seek and try. Does that, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What does that stir up? Thinking about
Well,
plate size.
yeah, I think that it never hurts to ask. If somebody is asking you to take on something that you're unsure about, if you're going to do a little experimentation, I'd just be honest about it. Yeah, I'd like to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm this is this a life sentence, or can we try three
Yeah.
weeks and see how
Yeah.
that goes, or can I do it for this project and then reevaluate because I'm really trying to pay attention to my I mean here's the word, right? Trying to pay attention to workability.
Yeah. Yeah. I
This
love
is an
that.
integrity issue
That's a
for me,
great term. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I, I want to be honest up front to say, you know what, I'm willing to give that a shot.
Yeah.
I can add one more thing and give it a whirl and see how it goes. But can we circle back in a month
Yeah.
or tomorrow or next week? Yeah, this is not a good fit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
long as I think if we're clear, then that affords us opportunities with agency and things like
Yeah.
that to be able to protect ourselves. I mean, there are good ways to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
there are thoughtful ways to say, yeah, that's I know what the end result is going to be when I
Yeah.
overcommit.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
so but I'm willing to give this a shot and see if it works in my life.
Yeah.
And
Chris,
well, because I
snaps.
think well, that I have responsibilities outside of
Yes.
my relationship with you, outside of other pertinent relationships. I have responsibilities at home.
Yeah.
And and when I think about that, I want to honor and hold up my end of responsibility. And I also, like, when I'm home, I also want to be able to rest sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I've filled my plate so full that I can't have any downtime ever, and I'm not holding up any part of my bargain at home, well,
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you that that probably isn't going to end well.
Yeah.
And that's true for anybody and everybody. So
Yep. Yeah.
no
I
matter
think
if your
that's a
plate sizes are the same or different or anything, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a really wise and helpful turn. I think there's probably listeners that are sitting here listening to us talk about plate size and agency and going, I don't have a choice. My supervisor, my CEO, my whatever hands me these things. I don't have a choice. And I think there are times where that's absolutely true, right? And I think
Well, maybe.
well, where that may be the presented option in front of you. I think
Yeah.
the conversation around margins has to be the sort of whole life conversation. I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
I think I have a good friend who's in the middle of this like software rollout project that is consuming every minute of her time, and um, probably doesn't have the agency short of a new job to say I'm not going to do this, and she takes opportunities to find margin in other places and
Yeah,
understands
that's
that
great.
and understands that this margin conversation or plate conversation isn't just about 9 to 5 or 5 to whatever,
Yeah.
it really is a
Yeah,
whole conversation.
it is a whole conversation, right? And I don't I don't know how to anymore. I don't know how to think about work-life balance. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what that
I
is.
agree.
What I want to think about is workability.
Yes. Yes.
And is my life in its totality, I have a life to live, and it includes all the live, work, play.
Yes.
Uh, then is my life workable?
Yeah.
And uh, I would I want to say only I can answer that. And that's not necessarily true. I think the people closest to us, our partners, our
Yeah.
spouses, are also able to say, you know, can you think about that? And sometimes I need that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need my wife to say, look,
Yeah.
you're I think you're coloring outside the lines. uh,
Yeah.
and you know that we like neat and tidy. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's just and to be open
Yeah.
the feedback and the conversation, I think is just another, it's a vital piece of
Yeah.
understanding margins and maintaining them to keep the food on the
Yeah.
whenever I think about this and I hear you talking about trying to keep the food on the plate, well, I think what's true is like, so at Thanksgiving, if I put a dollop of potatoes on my tray and they're on my plate, and all of a sudden that the gravy starts bleeding out off of the plate, well, that leaves a mess.
Yeah. It's a bad
And
time.
yeah, right. And that stuff is like greasy and whatnot. It's really good for you. That's why Americans consume large quantities of gravy. Here's the thing, like my life is more workable when I'm not cleaning up messes.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Hmm.
Can I clarify one thing?
Yeah.
Because I know what you said, but I want to make
Hmm.
sure that the listener gets a clear picture.
Hmm.
So what you said about workability and not sort of having these clean, tidy, compartmentalized thing. You have a plate. You don't
Yeah.
have a work plate, a play plate, a home plate. We have a plate.
Yeah. We have a plate.
That's what I heard you say. Yeah.
Yep. And that plate includes everything. It's for me, it's you have a life to live. That's it,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
one plate.
Yep.
I'm not spinning 16 plates. I mean, I'm spinning a plate, and that
Yeah.
plate includes my life. It includes my work. It includes my family, my play, all the things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh, and maybe they're too intertwined. I I don't know, but yeah, I just here's I think this is how I want to say it. Because I want to be fully me as much of the time as I can possibly be. That means that I'm fully me at work, at home,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all the places I play. And
Yep. It's
and
gold.
so yeah, and that means like so something works if it's workable,
Yeah.
right? And so when I say integrity, that's where that's coming from. And if if my margins, if my plate is so full that those closest to me uh, are are like picking up my crumbs or
Yeah.
the or wiping up the gravy off the floor. I'm not sure that's workable. It might be for a moment, but it's not
Yeah.
in the long term, right? And
Yeah.
so to your comment about it might not be possible short of a job change. Well, here's what I would say. I never want anybody to feel as though they are so stuck that like, like thinking about your life from a workability standpoint. Uh, there are other jobs out there.
Yeah.
If you are perpetually being forced to carry three plates or to have a massive platter or to not have
Yeah.
enough to do,
Yeah.
have this big plate and nothing to do, and it's unfulfilling. If it leads to continual overwhelm or unfulfillment,
Yeah.
that I think there are plenty of
Yeah.
opportunities that exist in the world that our best thinking, again, responding, not just reactivity, then like this is where asking, knowing what I want and need, and then being able to ask
Yeah.
for it,
Yeah.
where I'm putting a little responsibility back on people
Yeah.
to, hopefully good leaders see you and they're giving you more. And like I just always figured, I mean, those who can get more. Not
Yeah.
everybody thinks that way, and not
Yeah.
everybody would stand up to me and say I have too much already either,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so this is part of human development.
Yeah.
growing in our emotional maturity to be able to
Yeah.
say what's true and ask for what we need from a
Yeah.
place of security, not fear.
Yeah. 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 It's really good. I think maybe here's what I want to say. Do you mind if I rap?
Oh, well,
I was
yes, I can't wait for this.
rap with a
Do I
W.
need to drop a beat? Oh,
Rap with a W.
okay.
I realized I was about to wrap up, but
Mm.
you were going to be the interviewer, and I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
steal that from you, and I don't want to do
Mm.
that if you don't want me to do that. Uh, so maybe here's what I would say: if
Yeah.
someone's listening to this and they're thinking, I don't even know what size plate I've got, I don't know how to think about
Mm.
keeping my food on the plate, whatever
Yeah.
my metaphorical food is. How do they get a hold of us and say like, hey, I need some help with this?
Yep. Brimstonecoachinggroup.com and find a button, a tab on the website there that says schedule initial inquiry, schedule a free call. There's a lot of buttons that you can push there. And it's really straightforward. You can schedule an appointment with either one of us, 20, 30-minute call to explore what it might look like to talk about margin. And
Yeah,
that's free, costs you
yeah,
nothing except for the time to schedule that Zoom call. And
yeah,
I'm here to tell you, friends, like we should all be past Zoom fear. Some of us might have Zoom fatigue. I understand that. And the reality is I don't care where in the world you are. There's opportunity for you to engage when we think about margins, and we would love to have that kind of a conversation with you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for saying that. I mean, I think what's
Mm-hmm.
true, Chris, is the work we do with people is like a lot of the base foundational work is understanding what does your plate look like and
Yeah,
what's on it and what can you put on or what does it need to, what do you need to take off? So,
yeah, right. And why is that particular thing always on your plate?
yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep. Well, thanks for the conversation, Chris. Good as always.
yeah, I appreciate it.